This evening, Katya Sidorova is giving Tom Davenport his third Russian lesson.
Здравствуй, Tom.
Здравствуйте, Katya.
Now, Tom, our main task this evening is to practice expressing the word it in Russian. Translate, please. Where is the telephone?
Где телефон?
I answer, it is on the table. Он на столе.
Он на столе. So the Russian for it is on.
In this case, yes, but not always. You only use on to mean it if the noun you refer to is masculine, and telephone is masculine. Every Russian noun has one of the three genders, either masculine or feminine or neuter.
But how do you tell which of these three genders a given noun has?
Well, firstly, all nouns ending in a consonant are masculine.
So we know telephone is masculine because it ends in a consonant, N, in fact. But what about nouns that end in a vowel?
Well, those that end in A or Ya are feminine.
Like komnata, a room, pronounced komnata.
Or Anglia, England, pronounced Anglia.
So if you ask me, где комната, where is the room?
You can answer, она в доме. It is in the house. Or na, pronounced она.
So, она means it, when the noun referred to is feminine.
Yes. And она is, of course, also the word for she. Translate, she speaks Russian.
Она говорит по-русски. That leaves us with the neuter.
Nouns ending in o and ye are neuter, like письмо, a letter, pronounced письмо, or café, a cafe. I ask you, where is the letter? Где письмо? And you answer, it is on the table. Оно на столе.
So it is оно, when the noun referred to is neuter.
Yes, or no, pronounced оно. Now I want you to do a bit of gender spotting. First, dom, house.
Dom, house, is masculine. It ends in a consonant, a M, in fact.
Yes. Now try kino, a cinema.
Kino is neuter. It ends in O.
Now the name of a country. Uganda, meaning Uganda. Pronounced Uganda.
Uganda is feminine. It ends in A.
Translate, where is Uganda? It is in Africa.
Где Уганда? Она в Африке.
Now translate, where is the letter? It is on the table in the room.
Где письмо? Оно на столе в комнате.
Where is the room? It is in the house.
Где комната? Она в доме.
And where is the house? It is in Kensington.
А где дом? Он в Кенсингтоне.
Good. Now with the word for they, we don't have all this fuss about genders.
Good.
As you already know, they is oni, pronounced они. I ask you, where are the letter and telephone? Где письмо и телефон?
And I answer, they are on the table. Они на столе.
Очень хорошо. Now for a new word. Вот. It means here is and is used when you are pointing things out. Thus, вот телефон, here is the telephone.
Вот is like the French voici, in fact.
Yes. Translate again. Where is the telephone?
Где телефон?
And I answer, here it is on the table. Вот он, на столе.
Вот on is like the French le voici. Does вот take any special case?
After what, nouns and pronouns are left in the nominative. Oh dear, look.
What's the matter?
Father's left his tobacco behind again. Here it is on the table.
Вот on, на столе, in fact.
Очень хорошо. What on is right, because the Russian for tobacco is masculine.
Lucky guess on my part, because I don't know what the Russian for tobacco is.
Tobacco is tabak, pronounced tabak.
Табак.
Yes.
Here is the tobacco on the table. Вот табак на столе.
Да, вот он на столе. Вот это нехорошо.
What do you mean, вот это нехорошо? Here, this is not good.
Вот это нехорошо means that's a bad thing. It's an idiomatic use of what.
And why is it so нехорошо?
It's such a bad thing because Father gets so angry when he goes out without his tobacco.
Oh, I see.
Anyway, we'll now move on to our next task for this evening. We'll deal with the present tense of the verb знать, to know, which I hope you've learned from lesson 3 in the pamphlet Russian for Beginners. Translate, please. I know.
Я знаю.
You familiar? Know.
Ты знаешь.
He knows and she knows.
Он знает. И она знает.
We know and you know.
Мы знаем. Вы знаете.
They know.
Они знают.
What other verbs do you know that go like знать?
Играть, to play, and работать, to work.
Translate, she works.
Она работает.
We play.
Мы играем.
Вот телефон звонит.
Here is the telephone ringing. Вот телефон звонит.
Come over and listen, Tom. Алло, говорит Катя Sidorova. Katya Sidorova speaking.
Здравствуй, Катя.
Здравствуй, папа.
Why do you say здравствуй instead of здравствуйте or здрасте?
Because здравствуй is the familiar form used, for example, between father and daughter.
I see. Здрасте, Professor Sidorov.
Здрасте, Том. Вы не знаете, где табак? You don't know where the tobacco is?
Yes, I know where it is. Да, я знаю, где он.
That's good. Вот это хорошо. Where is it? Где он?
Here it is, on the table. Вот он, на столе.
It's on the table in the room. Он на столе в комнате.
Очень хорошо. Goodbye, Катя. До свидания, Катя.
До свидания, папа.
До свидания, Том.
До свидания, Professor Sidorov.
Right, let's continue. We'll bring in a new verb, meaning to ask. Спрашивать. Pronounce спрашивать. It conjugates like знать. Translate, please. Daddy asked where the tobacco is.
Папа спрашивает, где табак.
Yes. Translate, they ask.
Они спрашивают.
We do not ask.
Мы не спрашиваем.
What does Professor Sidorov ask?
Что профессор Сидоров спрашивает?
He asks where the tobacco is.
Он спрашивает, где табак.
And do we know where the tobacco is?
Мы знаем, где табак.
We know that it is on the table in the room.
Мы знаем, что он на столе в комнате.
And where is the room? It is in the house.
Комната где? Она В доме.
The house is in London.
Дом в Лондоне.
Where is London?
Где Лондон?
It is in England.
Он в Англии.
Yes. In England is v Anglii. Pronounced Vanglii. Nouns in ia form their prepositional singular in e and not in ye.
A quarter of an hour has elapsed. Meanwhile, Professor Sidorov has returned and taken Katya's place. He is trying to answer some of my questions about pronunciation. What I want to get straight, Professor, is the pronunciation of the vowel ye. That seems quite straightforward in a word like Dostoevsky.
Yes, the vowel ye is pronounced ye when it is stressed, as in Dostoevsky.
But what about unstressed ye, as in the word for telephone? You don't say telephone, but telephone. It sounds more like a ye.
Yes, telephone. Unstressed ye is reduced to ye. Another example is the word for a general, said slowly general, but pronounced general. I'll say those words again. Telephone general.
So unstressed ye is pronounced ye everywhere. Telephone general.
Well, more or less. Another example can be taken from the verb you've just been learning. He knows is, said slowly, on знает. Pronounce on знает.
On знает. And similarly, on работает, he works, or on играет, he plays. The ending is spelled yet, but pronounced yit, because the vowel isn't stressed. On знает, on работает, on играет.
That's right. But when unstressed ye ends a word, the sound may be nearer to yo than ye. You know is, said slowly, вы знаете. Pronounce вы знаете.
Вы знаете. Then we also get unstressed ye in some prepositional case ending.
Yes, say in the room.
В комнате.
Yes, said slowly, в комнате. Pronounce в комнате.
В комнате. The last syllable is che. В комнате.
Contrast the stressed ye at the end of на столе, on the table.
На столе. В комнате.
Yes, and all the time you're studying Russian, please keep reminding yourself of the importance of stress. A good heavy stress on the stressed syllables, but what we might call a casual rippling effect with the unstressed syllables. Say Leningrad.
Leningrad.
Correspondent.
Корреспондент.
Vladivostok.
Vladivostok.
Yes, where you drawl in English Leningrad, correspondent, Vladivostok, we are more rapid, precise, and emphatic. Leningrad, correspondent, Vladivostok.
Uh-huh.
Now, young men, let's see how much Katya managed to teach you about our Russian genders. We'll go back to the 3 musical instruments we mentioned in our first lesson: the trombone, the flute, and the piano. Что это?
Это тромбон.
Yes, that is a trombone. Now say, where is the trombone? There it is.
Где тромбон? Вот он.
Что это?
Это флейта.
Where is the flute? There it is.
Где флейта? Вот она.
Что это?
Это пианино.
Where is the piano? There it is.
Где пианино? Вот оно.
That is the trombone, the flute, and the piano.
Это тромбон, флейта и пианино.
Now, when we want to use the phrase to play an instrument, we always say to play on an instrument. Translate, he plays the trombone.
Он играет на тромбоне.
She plays the flute.
Она играет на флейте.
They play the piano.
Они играют на пианино.
Yes. Now translate the other way. Кто играет на пианино?
Who is playing the piano?
На пианино играет пианист.
The pianist is playing the piano. На пианино играет пианист. Literally, on the piano plays pianist. Is there any reason why you put the word pianist at the end?
Well, you don't actually have to. Russian word order is very flexible, and I'll touch on it in the moment. Now translate, кто играет на флейте?
Who is playing the flute?
На флейте играет флейтист.
The flautist is playing the flute.
Кто играет на тромбоне?
Who is playing the trombone?
На тромбоне играет тромбонист.
A trombonist, a trombone player, is playing the trombone.
Now I want to introduce you to a new word, which is used to translate if or whether in such phrases as I ask if you speak Russian or I ask whether you speak Russian. This word is li.
Ли.
Now, li can never stand as the first word of a phrase. It usually comes second. Thus, I ask if you speak Russian is я спрашиваю, I ask, говорите ли вы по-русски, if you speak Russian.
Я спрашиваю, говорите ли вы по-русски?
Yes. She does not know if the pianist is playing the piano.
Она не знает, играет ли пианист на пианино.
They say that the pianist does play the piano.
Они говорят, что пианист играет на пианино.
She asks if the flautist and trombone player play the piano.
Она спрашивает, играют ли флейтист и тромбонист на пианино.
Now, another point about li. You remember the normal way of asking questions in Russian?
Yes, you simply use the words as in an ordinary statement, but give them a questioning intonation. Thus, he plays the piano is он играет на пианино. Does he play the piano is он играет на пианино. Same words, different intonation.
Very good. Now, if you wanted to, you could ask the same question in another way and use the word li. You'd be most likely to do that if you chose to vary the word order and put the verb first. Thus, играет ли он на пианино? Does he play the piano?
You never put ли as the first word of a sentence or phrase.
Never.
What's the effect of varying the word order in this way?
When you use li, it's usually preceded by the most emphatic word or phrase. Thus, на пианино ли он играет? Is it the piano he is playing? Он ли играет на пианино? Is it he who is playing the piano?
So the first word is always the most emphatic one.
Yes, but only in questions. In positive statements, the last word is usually most emphatic. Thus, на пианино играет пианист. A pianist is playing the piano. Пианист на пианино играет. A pianist is playing the piano as opposed to painting it, selling it, or doing anything else with it.
One more question about li. Do I ever have to use it in asking questions?
No, If I were you, I'd avoid it for the moment, though some grammars do recommend it. But you've got to use it to translate if and whether in such sentences as, I ask if you are working well.
Я спрашиваю, работаете ли вы хорошо? You always seem to end on this improving note, Professor.
Well, if you're not prepared to work a bit, you might as well give up Russian now.
Oh, I'm not going to, because вы знаете, что я работаю хорошо. You know I work well.